All right, thank you, Keith, and good work there. All right, we are following two breaking news stories tonight at 6. New video just into the newsroom from two police-involved shootings happening in two communities here in our state. Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Yeah, we're learning that new information from the Inspector General in the police-involved shooting in Hartford from Monday.
Yeah, just about an hour ago, we received video that shows Hartford police officer Brian Sullivan arriving on the scene behind the vehicle being stopped on Westland Street. Officer Sullivan can be seen talking to the man outside of the vehicle. And before that man, 44-year-old Jamie Grant pulls out a gun and fires in the direction of Officer Sullivan. He's not hit, and Officer Sullivan returns fire with his service weapon. Grant tries to run away, but body camera video shows Sullivan firing his weapon several times and hitting Grant before he falls in the middle of the street. Officers give him CPR on scene before sending him to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Inspector General will investigate further into the use of deadly force in this shooting. And the other officer-involved shooting happening in Wallingford, also on Monday.
We're getting a clearer picture of what led up to that shooting. Fox 61's Gabby Molina is in the Breaking News Center with a closer look at the video just released. Gabby.
Brent and Sarah, that shooting happened Monday just before 3 a.m. at a home on North Airline Road. The Office of the Inspector General says Wallingford police officers were called there for a report that a man had shot himself in the face. Newly released body cam footage shows the moments before at least one Wallingford police officer fired their gun, killing 62-year-old Donald Passmore at his home Monday morning.
Put the flashlight down. Put both flashlights down.
Sir, you know I'm
telling you right now.
You know.
Where are you going to go? What of you are going to go?
Officers Gordon McCaskill and Robert Bellucci can be seen and heard speaking to Passmore from his bedroom door while he laid on the bed. According to the Office of the Inspector General, officers spoke to him for about 9 minutes and instructed him not to touch his gun.
Put your hand in front now! Keep them where we do not touch the gun! Get your hand in front of you now!
We've paused the video here, but that's when at least one of the officers fires several rounds. It's not clear if both officers fired their weapons.
Shots fired, shots fired.
A .22 caliber revolver was found on the bed. Passmore was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The chief medical examiner says Passmore died of gunshot wounds to the torso. The Office of the Inspector General is working with several other agencies to investigate this incident. In the Breaking News Center, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, thank you, Gabby. And new tonight, a residential street in West Hartford has been closed for much of the day due to an active investigation.
Fox 61's Jake Garcia has been following the story all afternoon. He joins us now live from West Hartford with the latest on it. Jake.
Well, Brent and Sarah, we can tell you that West Hartford police say that they responded to a home here on Crocker Avenue in West Hartford just before 9:30 this morning for a welfare check. Now, officers not releasing much details at this time, but say that due to information gathered in their initial investigation, it required this kind of response. Now, take a look at this video. This is from what we've seen for much of the day. We've seen armed police in tactical gear focusing their attention on a home throughout the day. Police even using a loudspeaker at times to communicate with someone inside the home. Now, just in the last several minutes, we've heard emergency tones and sirens also coming from that home as well. Crocker Avenue, is still closed between South Quaker Lane and Trout Brook Drive while police continue to investigate. Officers are asking drivers to avoid the area until further notice. And now, more than 7 hours later, this continues to be a very active scene, but with little information about what led up to this standoff here in West Hartford. We're live in West Hartford. Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Jake, thank you. A Norwich school was placed on lockdown this morning after a report of a suspicious package. The Norwich Free Academy's main campus was locked down as police responded and x-rayed that package. Other Norwich schools were placed in a secure mode as a precaution. The lockdown and the secure mode were lifted a short time later when officials determined there was no threat, but the incident remains under investigation. Tonight, state educators are sounding the alarm once again. The Connecticut Education Association releasing a new survey showing what they call a teacher exodus and a continuing crisis in our schools.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolford spoke with CEA leaders and local teachers. She joins us now in studio. Emma, what they have to say?
Well, Sarah, Brent, education leaders call these new numbers soul-crushing and are now calling on state lawmakers and the community to step up.
We have teachers that are being hit, spit on, punched, kicked regularly.
Jennifer Rodriguez has been teaching first graders for 15 years. She gathered with other teachers, officials from the Connecticut Education Association, and state lawmakers Wednesday to discuss this new survey of more than 7,000 K-12 Connecticut educators.
We better start taking this seriously because we can't continue to ignore. These numbers are going to catch up to us in real time with real consequences.
The survey shows 77% of teachers are frustrated and burned out, up 8% from last year. It also shows nearly 3/4 of educators are more likely to retire or leave the profession early, with 98% identifying stress and burnout as their top issues.
We've turned over at least 1/4 of our staff in the last 3 years, and these openings in my district aren't just happening more, they're happening all year long.
The survey also pointed to staffing shortages, a lack of respect for educators, and student mental health as serious issues in schools.
This is not a time to say, we're fine, it's good. It's a time to say, what can we do and how do we make it happen?
In terms of solutions, state lawmakers at Wednesday's announcement said the legislature has made moves to address these challenges, but more still needs to be done.
What we are shocked by and continue to be shocked by is the lack of action or the lack of understanding by folks in power who have the ability to make this change.
The state did include more funding in the budget for schools last session, but lawmakers and teachers want to see more.
The fact that we have a commitment for additional resources gets us to a step in the right direction, but money does not solve everything.
And in terms of legislative steps, lawmakers want to encourage more people to become teachers through increasing incentives and easing restrictions. They also want to get more money, lawmakers adding the community doesn't have to wait until next session to support educators, telling me parents and residents can help now by supporting the teachers already in their lives. Sarah, Brent.
All right, thank you, Emma. A lot to think about there. Turning now to the weather, another nice day outside.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Rach?
And I think tomorrow will actually be the nicest day of the week. We'll see temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, and it will be brighter. Today, the clouds were certainly a bit stubborn, close to 60 degrees right now in the capital city, and still a couple showers here in far southeastern Connecticut as well, especially from Stonington up through parts of Griswold included in that too. And it looks like another shower here towards Montville, but it looks like the heaviest of what might be making it to the ground is now starting to move into westerly Rhode Island. Right now, temperatures are in the 50s to right around 60 degrees, so certainly feeling like fall out there, and we'll see overnight lows headed back into the 40s to around 50 as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're starting off the day with partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies, temperatures beginning in the 40s, and we'll see high temperatures tomorrow in the mid to upper 60s as we head through the afternoon. Enjoy tomorrow if you have a chance, because it looks wet heading into the day on Friday. Periods of rain, some heavy at times, and some of those showers carry into part of the weekend as well. We'll talk about it. Your full forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. A Griswold man has been arrested in connection to an armed robbery that happened at a state boat launch. Devontae Fontaine was arrested last week in connection to an assault and armed robbery that happened back in May at the Quinebaug River State Boat Launch in Canterbury. Police say he stole $14 in cash from the victim and destroyed his phone before leaving the scene. Southington police are searching for the man who allegedly stole more than $1,000 worth of merchandise from a Lowe's. Police are sharing these photos of the suspect. They say the man allegedly stole several tools on September 29th and loaded them into a silver Honda CR-V. Anyone with information should call Southington Police.
President Joe Biden arriving in Israel today, hoping to ease tensions that are at a boiling point. Air Force One touched down this morning not far from the front lines of the conflict. President Biden embraced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and quickly offered his support.
I wanted to be here today for a simple reason. I wanted the people of Israel, the people of the world, to know where the United States stands.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal will also be heading to Israel in the coming days.
Presence is important, and our presence there, we hope, will reaffirm America's determination to stand with Israel today, tomorrow, and forever.
Now, Blumenthal will be joining Senator Lindsey Graham, among others, when heading overseas.
Unfolding at the Capitol building today, protesters being arrested after holding a sit-in chanting "ceasefire now" while flooding the rotunda. The group, Jewish Voice for Peace, who organized the demonstration, and members say many have been arrested. Capitol Police have tweeted out within the past hour that 3 of those people have been charged with assault on a peace officer while being processed. Demonstrations are allowed at the Capitol, but not inside congressional buildings. We're working to get more details for you, and we'll have more on that story tonight on the Fox 61 News at 10 and 11. Meanwhile, here at home, Jewish protesters gathered at New Haven City Hall to urge local leaders to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. Protesters delivered letters to Mayor Justin Elicker and to Representative Rosa DeLauro's office. Earlier this week, 55 members of Congress endorsed a letter to President Biden and Secretary Blinken condemning the Hamas attack on Israel, but noting, quote, "The future and safety of Israelis and Palestinians are intertwined. We cannot achieve lasting peace and security for Israelis without addressing the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the West Bank," end quote. Well, the House continues its search for a new speaker. Ohio Representative Jim Jordan lost again in the race to succeed former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, only garnering 199 votes in today's vote. Representative John Larson says the whole world's watching and what's happening on Capitol Hill right now.
The whole world is watching and looking in, and it's not helpful, frankly, when Congress is without a speaker and therefore without a path forward to do this legislation. And especially when you're the preeminent democracy of the free world, this is not how to demonstrate how we lead in very difficult situations.
Jordan needs 217 votes in order to win the speaker spot.